And it is the return of Watch It Again, the show where I try to convince you to watch a movie again that I think is really, really good or great or a masterpiece. I got a special guest with me, Wendy. Holla at him.
Hi guys, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine. But I was speaking to the guys listening.
I'm sure they're nodding right now. The guys and the gals.
Yes. Hi, people.
The theys. What's the
Hello, everyone.
What's the proper greeting nowadays in today's binary?
I think hey y'all is always good.
Hey y'all.
Mm-hmm.
What up?
Mm-hmm.
What's poppin'?
Yeah.
What's happening, Captain?
Yeah.
All
Hey
that.
y'all, what's
And a
up?
photo mat.
Yeah. How's your mom and them? All of that.
Well, everybody out there listening, I am back and welcome to Watch It Again. Now, this is I think episode 3 or 4 of Watch It Again. It's been a minute since I've done one, but I'm glad to do it again because I am a lover of all things film and cinema. As you well know, I am also a screenwriter. By the way, check out my new movie that is available on Tubi entitled How to Snatch a Bachelor. Shameful plug. Anyways, I won't say anything else about it until some other show. Anyways, Wall Street. What do you know about Wall Street? Now, not Wall Street the movie, Wall Street in general. When you hear Wall Street, what's the first thought that comes to your mind, Wendy?
Money, stockbrokers, trading, suits, cocaine,
Excess.
excess.
Yes. Depravity. Decadence.
Gosh, I don't know if I would say depravity, but I would definitely say decadence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ruthlessness.
Ruthlessness.
Backstabbing.
Yeah. Man.
Prostitution.
Oh, I didn't think
Hoes.
that. No, I didn't think that.
Bitches.
No.
Motherfuckers.
Maybe.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
All that.
Well, most of what you said.
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I think when people, the layperson, I consider myself a layperson, when the layperson hears the term Wall Street, there are distinct things that pop into your head like immediately because we have a negative connotation, I think, when it comes to Wall Street. I guess it depends on where you are on the social strata, caste or whatever, as to what your thought process is when you hear the term Wall Street. All right, so suffice it to say, if you mention Wall Street to someone who's probably on the lower end of the socio-economic scale, it'll probably be something negative. But if it's someone who is probably upper middle class, someone who has dealt in the world of finance and things of that nature, they have a different connotation. What do you think?
I agree. I really don't know much about trading and stocks, but when I think about Wall Street, I think of opportunity.
Yes, high finance.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think you know, especially maybe not so much nowadays, but back in the heyday, so to speak, of Wall Street, back in the mid to late 80s, early 90s, you hear about all these people who came up on Wall Street who had overnight successes, overnight fortunes, things of that nature. There's one name that kind of springs to mind, and that name is, when it comes to Wall Street and finance and fortune and instant
Who? Oh,
fame.
you asking me?
Yeah.
Donald Trump?
There you go. There you go. And all the negativity that surrounded him then versus the negativity that surrounds him now. What say you?
Well, I wasn't expecting to even hear his name during this, and it, much less me be the one that says it. But gosh, I honestly hadn't associated him with Wall Street in so long. I kind of forgot.
Really?
Yeah.
He was kind of in those circles.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how he kind of made his thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we're not going to turn this into a Donald Trump conversation. Lord knows. That is a rabbit hole that no one wants to go down because it leads to nothing but pain and spitefulness and all the negativity that you can associate with that. But we're going to get it back on track. We're going to talk about Wall Street, the motherfucking movie. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say motherfucking. We're going to talk about Wall Street, the movie. The film was released in 1987, written and directed by Oliver Stone. The Academy Award-winning director, Oliver Stone. He won an Academy Award for the screenplay for Midnight Express. You ever seen Midnight Express? Midnight Express was a great movie. He wrote that, received the Oscar for that screenplay. He also wrote the screenplay for Scarface. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yes, he did. That's Oliver Stone. He wrote Scarface. He also wrote, produced, and directed Platoon, which was a mega hit. It won the Oscar for Best Picture. He won the Oscar for Best Director, and it was one of the greatest. It's considered the definitive war story, especially surrounding the Vietnam War. And Platoon, once again, Platoon was a huge hit. Won all these awards. It made a superstar out of his lead actor, Charlie Sheen. It also made a bigger star of Oliver Stone as a director, and they followed it up with Wall Street. Now, Wall Street stars Charlie Sheen as a gentleman by the name of Bud Fox, who is a stockbroker at a large Wall Street firm. And this film was released in 1987, but it is set in 1985. Now, young Bud is a struggling Wall Street broker who is trying to get into the good graces of one Gordon Gekko. Now, Gordon Gekko is a highly successful corporate raider. Now, have you heard the term corporate raider and what that means?
Yes.
Okay. What are your thoughts on corporate raiders? Let's kind of explain for the folks out there who are listening.
Well, hopefully I have it correct. I'm sure you'll jump in if I don't. So, a corporate raider is a person or company that comes in and they buy shares of another company, buy enough shares to own it, and then they do whatever they want with it. Break it up, sell it, take it over, whatever is in the best interest of their organization. Is
absolutely.
That right?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely. That is what Gordon Gekko is. And Bud Fox idolizes Gordon Gekko. Now, when the story opens, he has tried unsuccessfully 59 days straight to reach Gordon Gekko for an appointment. Every single day he would call and talk to his secretary, Natalie, hoping to get 5 minutes of Gordon Gekko's time. But it was unsuccessful. So when the story picks up, it happens to be Gordon Gekko's birthday, and young Bud is able to acquire favorite cigars of Gordon Gekko's, Cuban cigars, which of course Cuban cigars are illegal in the United States, right? They're illegal. You can't buy them.
Well, I don't know if it's illegal anymore now that whatever's happened, but yes, it used to be. At that time, it was.
Right. So back in '85, you couldn't get Cuban cigars. However, he's able to get some for Gordon. He shows up at his office on his birthday and is granted 5 minutes with the king. And that is kind of where the story takes off. Now we're going to stop right here for a second, and we're going to talk just a little bit about 1987. Now, in 1987, I'm not going to make you tell my age, but what age group were you in when you were back in 1987?
I was very young. Mm-hmm. I was in the grade.
Grade. Okay. Wow, you were in the grade.
Yeah. Let me see. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me think about it. In 1987, what grade was I in? I think I was middle school.
Really?
Yeah.
Middle school?
Yes.
Okay. Back in 1987, I was, good Lord, I was 19 years old. And I just joined United States Air Force.
I was not. I believe I was in the 7th grade.
Okay, we're going to leave that alone.
Yeah.
But I remember, I was a huge fan of Platoon. So when I saw that Wall Street came out, and I saw that Charlie Sheen and Oliver Stone were involved, I definitely wanted to see it. And I recall going to the movies to see it, and just being blown away by what I saw on the screen.
Oh, you saw it in theaters?
I saw it in theaters.
Platoon?
Platoon, not okay. Platoon. I didn't see Platoon in theaters.
You saw Wall Street?
I saw Wall Street. Well, I saw Platoon in theaters, but it was like way after it was a
success.
Yeah. I kind of saw it like one of those theaters that show like old movies, for like $1.
I miss those times.
Yeah, don't you?
Yeah.
You get everything for $1, popcorn, drink, and the movie for $1.
Do they still have dollar movies anywhere?
Not that I know of. Oh. Yeah. That's a. See, streaming has kind of replaced that because why you gonna go to the movies and spend even to $1 movie when you can just pull up on Amazon or whatever. Especially if you have an account in this like if it's on Prime and you're already paying for your Prime, so you're not paying for the movie itself. So
Right.
streaming has definitely changed. I think it has made the dollar movie a dinosaur. And I think now, if there's a dollar movie theater, folks go there more for some nostalgic purposes, because there's a lot that goes into going to the movies. It's more than just grabbing a couple tickets and going to see a movie. Nowadays, you gotta pay for parking. If you got kids, you gotta get a babysitter. You gotta go through all these different machinations to get there. That costs money as well. Versus just pop some Orville Redenbacher, sit back on the sofa and press and play. Mm-hmm. So things have definitely changed. Anyways, back to Wall Street. Now, when it comes to this particular movie, I didn't know a whole lot about finance and things of that nature, but I was very much interested in the world of finance. Actually, a lot of folks don't know this, but when I went to college, I was an economics major. I wanted to be one of those people on Wall Street. I wanted to be.
You want to be Bud, or did you want to be Gordon?
I wanted to be Gordon. I think everybody wanted to be Gordon. But I actually wanted to be in that world and be an investment banker. That was my thing, investment banking. Not a broker, but an investment banker. But there was one fatal flaw that deterred me, thankfully. thankful to some people out there who might have encountered me, is that I was terrible at math. I was a horrible math student. I was a straight A student, but I was a straight C student when it came to math. I to this day I've never been able to master or comprehend the concept of numbers. Have you?
That's why I have degrees in music. I had to take 2 math classes in college to get my undergrad. And I was worried if I was going to pass those. And they were the basic ones. So, no. Numbers is not my ministry. I have other talents.
I feel you on that. And so I was the same way. Once I realized that me and numbers were not friends, I quickly realized that plus I never was able to grasp the concept. I'm sure I would have if I would have taken more classes. Just the concept behind stock market and things of that nature, how high finance works. But Young Bud Fox is now the film Wall Street. Oliver Stone, he made this film as a tribute to his father Lou Stone, who was a stockbroker during the Great Depression, and he kind of fashioned the character of Gordon Gekko after his father. But the film was a huge success with critics and also with audiences. It was a financial success, and also it was a success as far as the people involved. Oliver Stone was nominated for an Oscar. The lead character, Gordon Gekko, which was played by Michael Douglas, was nominated for an Academy Award. Do you think he won?
Did Michael Douglas win?
Do you think he won?
I don't know. I know he's won an Academy Award, but I always call him Catherine Zeta-Jones' husband. Are they still married?
Yes, they are, as far as I know, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did he win?
Yes.
For that? Okay.
Michael Douglas won the Academy Award for Best Actor for
Wall Street.
And in my opinion, his portrayal of Gordon Gekko is one of the greatest film performances ever, in my opinion.
Wow.
This dude dominated every scene that he was in, for one. Okay, you and I watched the film last night, and it was your first time ever seeing it, right?
Right.
Give me your impression of the Gordon Gekko character the first time you saw it.
Well, I can see why Bud was so diligent in trying to get a meeting with him, because when he comes on screen, when Michael Douglas comes on screen, he is magnetic. He is the guy that people want to be and people want to know and people want to associate with and learn from. He is that person. And so, yeah, he does own every scene that he's in. He's the guy that when he walks into the room, everybody's like, okay, everything's going to be okay. Whatever was wrong, everything's going to be okay now because he's in here.
Absolutely. And he had the type of personality, when he steps into the room, he sucks all the air out of the room. It's like he walks in and the world stops because he's there. And everybody focuses on him.
Yeah.
Which is a trait that if you have that trait, it's not something that you, in my opinion, it's not something that you cultivate. That's something that you design. It's something you were fucking born with.
Agree.
Right.
It's the it factor that people talk about.
Yes. And I have witnessed the it factor. Sidebar. This was back in 1988. I was in a nightclub in San Antonio, Texas called Illusions. It was a Friday night. Okay? Club's packed out. This club's always packed. Club's packed out, music banging, this, that, and the third, until an individual walked into the building, and everything, it's like the world stopped on its axis, and everything stopped for a brief moment. Want to know who that person was? Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan walked in. It's like the world freaking stopped. He walks through to the back room and shoots pool. It's like nobody was focused on the club no more. Everybody's focused on MJ's in the freaking house. And this was back in '88 when Mike, he wasn't Mike when he was a superstar. He wasn't Mike. You know what I mean? He was just Mike.
Wasn't an icon quite yet. Yeah. He wasn't a living legend.
Yeah. But he was big. But when he walked in, the whole world stopped. And I would think that's probably what you get nowadays when LeBron James enters the room.
Did he have an entourage with him?
No, he did not. He was with some other players. He was with other San Antonio players. Yeah, once again, this is when he was Mike. He wasn't Mike. You know, so he could still go places and not, you know, be deluged with people trying to get into his crack. But I can imagine that's how it is nowadays when LeBron enters the room. What are your thoughts?
Probably, or Beyonce.
Yeah. Name off the top of your head. Just name maybe three or four people you think that when they step into the room, everything stops.
Beyonce, Barack Obama,
yes.
Michelle Obama, Oprah. Let me see some more people. I'm probably showing my age naming the people that I've named, but you know, for sure those folks.
Denzel.
Most likely Denzel. I don't really know athletes, so I can't name any of those. But
I hate to admit it, John Trump.
Oh my God! I thought we weren't talking about him anymore.
Maybe from a negative connotation, but yeah, he still sucked the air out of the room, I think.
Okay.
You think? Let me think. Somebody that Tom Brady, I would think. He steps into a room.
Oh, he plays football, right? Yeah. That's Giselle's husband.
Yes, Giselle's husband.
Oh no, wait, are they still married?
No.
Okay, Giselle's ex-husband.
Yeah, Giselle's ex-husband.
Okay.
Tiger Woods was one of those people.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe not so much now, but when he was at his peak, he was definitely an air sucker.
Perhaps at his peak. Y'all, what do you think? Is Tiger still able to have that effect? Put it in the comments.
Yeah, I think so. I think Tiger still got that magnetism, even though he's past his heyday. I think if Tiger stepped into the room, you know it. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, back to the movie. Now we're gonna discuss a little bit of trivia when it comes to the movie. Okay. Now, the first scene. We're going back to Gecko for a second here. Now, the very first scene when Bud walks into Gordon Gekko's office, it's an amazing scene for one because you got to see him in action. When Bud enters the office, it's not like Gecko was sitting behind a big desk or something like that, holding audience or whatever. He is in full throat in the middle of doing whatever it is that he does.
Doing what he does best.
We see the master in action.
Right.
And Bud is there watching. And you can tell by the way the scene is shot and the camera movements, Bud is enthralled by what he's seeing. Okay? So he is basically sucked in. He is sucked into the vortex the moment he enters that office.
But he was already, look, he'd been trying to get an appointment for 59 days. Clearly, he's already in.
Yeah.
He's in. And he saw that and he just,
kind of solidified everything.
Yeah.
Fun fact when it comes to trivia. In the scene where Bud Fox brings that birthday gift to Gecko and walks into his office, the secretary says 5 minutes. Okay, and this was an unplanned meeting. So she gives him 5 minutes. And from the time he walks into the office, it's exactly 5 minutes screen time from the time he walks in to the time he walks out.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Ain't it? Ain't it? Yeah. And now the meeting is an unsuccessful meeting, or so we think, when it comes to Bud. Because the information that he shares with Gordon is information he already knows. So he's like, bring me something I don't freaking know. Okay? Now, I'm going to spoil the plot a little bit. At this point, the movie is, 30-some-odd years old. So if I'm spoiling it, then you'll need to be watching it anyway.
Well, no. I just saw it for the first time last night, so don't spoil it for the people. It is a good movie.
Okay.
And it's worth a watch.
So I'm not going to spoil it. Thank you for saying that.
You're welcome.
I was about to drop a spoiler.
Don't do that.
Okay. But there's information. The scene prior to him going to see Gordon, there's a scene where Bud learns some valuable information. And in the meeting with Gordon, as you know, he's crashing and burning in this meeting with Gordon, because Gordon's like, dude, you telling me shit I already know. You know, why are you here? Okay? And at that moment, Bud crosses a line and does something that starts a spiral. Now, I know you and I talked about this. We actually stopped the film for a second, talked about this. But you want to expand on it?
Yes. So, Gordon, to be that successful, you have to move in a lot of circles and know a lot of people. And when you are that way, you just find out things. You just find out things. Sometimes somebody will tell you something. Sometimes you find out things on accident, whatever, but you find out things. So Gordon is pretty in tune with what's going on in all sorts of industries, because his company has interest in all sorts of industries. It's not an industry specific company. Like, they're not targeting just one kind of company, correct?
Yes.
So, he's got information, this is just an example, but he would have information on cosmetics companies, on trucking companies, on manufacturers, on groceries, food companies. Like, he knows a lot of stuff. That's how come he's been so successful, and that's why he's telling Bud, I already know all of that. Bring me something I don't know, and, maybe then we can work something out. And so Bud, in his desperation,
yes, very much desperation,
decides to share some information he knows shouldn't be shared. And but he does it anyway. And so we stopped it and talked about, okay, this is the moment where Bud goes from,
innocent.
Yeah, innocent. He was, until that point, Bud was the guy who was just trying to live the American dream, right? He went to school, came from a hard-working family, went to school. He wants to, get into this, into the stock market game and make his way, make a mark in the world. And that's what he'd been doing. He already had a job, and he was a hard worker, but he was just looking for a break. Because, when you start out, it takes some years to kind of build up your career, right? Yeah. You have to, you don't come in an executive. You start wherever you start, and you work your way up. And so I think what Bud had hoped for was, if he got this meeting with Mr. Gecko, I don't think he was hoping to, be partner level or even with him, but I was thinking, the way I experienced it was, he was hoping maybe Gordon would offer him a job with his firm. So, and not even, it would have been a lateral move, not an upward move, but just being at Gordon's firm, he could have learned so much. There would have been a lot more opportunity for him at a company like that. So I think that's what Bud thought was going to happen. But it's not what happened.
Right. Mm-hmm. And because of the information that he shares with Gordon, that is what springs, that is what takes the movie from the second act from the first act into the second act, in the film where we call that the inciting incident. So when he shares that information with Gordon, the acting is so great in this film, especially in this scene. As soon as he shares that information with Gordon, you can see the wheel starting to turn in Gordon's head, and he's already 10 steps ahead of Bud. Mm-hmm. So it's like the entire film, Gordon is 10, 20 steps ahead of Bud. Bud don't know it though.
Right.
Bud think he's making it do what it do, when actuality is already done with, Gordon's already done it.
Yeah. It's funny because you're right. Gordon is ahead of Bud almost the whole time, but I don't think, and we can all see that.
Right.
Bud doesn't quite see it, but I don't understand how Bud couldn't see it when he knows what we just talked about. He knows that Gordon is in all sorts of things. You know, he never stopped to say, I wonder why. Why is he doing all of that instead of focusing on, maybe just one area, doing one thing really great or whatever. He never stops, or the film never shows him like thinking about that. Like he gets that opportunity and with Gordon, and he just is full speed ahead.
Yep. And Gordon says something to him later on in the film, in the third act, that kind of crystallizes a lot of things. He says to Bud, "You're a blind man walking without a cane." Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what it was the whole film. He was a blind man walking without a cane. Mm-hmm. And there's another scene that you and I talked about. I'll tell you what, I'll say that for a little bit later. We're going to get back into some of the fun facts about this film. Now, this film is so fucking 80s that, okay, if obviously, you are old enough in the 80s, kind of know how culture was and things and society and things of that nature were, and fashion and all this kind of crap was. So for the lay person who's maybe watching this film for the first time, who probably may have been an infant
or not even born
in the 80s, you're not going to relate. But there's something that you said the moment we saw Gordon and that jumped out to you. You want to share that real quick?
What did I say?
Think about it. That something that Gordon had on.
Oh, you want me to say what I said?
Yeah.
Okay, so when Gordon comes on screen, he's got on the blue dress shirt with the white cuffs and the white collar and the suspenders, and he doesn't have his jacket on, but that's what he's got on, and of course his suit pants, whatever. And I said, that is the douche uniform. That's the douchebag uniform. Whenever I see anybody dressed like that, especially if it's in the 80s, that they're not going to be a good character. They're not going to be. Like that is the uniform of greed. Yeah.
And back then, that was the style. Now, off the top of your head, what would you think that a suit like that would have cost them back then?
Oh.
First of all, you got it from Barney's. I think everybody got it back then.
Everybody was shopping at Barney's.
Everybody went to Barney's. I bet it's where you got it from. But
oh, he probably had like his low end suits were at least $2,000. I'm sure he had higher end suits and tuxedos, $10,000, $20,000. That wouldn't have been anything. That wouldn't have been nothing.
Now, Gordon tells Bud early in the film,
get a decent suit.
Yeah, get a decent suit. Mm-hmm. He tells him where to go. He says, go see somebody and tell this person, tell him I sent you. Mm-hmm. So, and that's kind of how he sucks. He further sucks Bud into his web. I think he gives him Bud $1 million. Mm-hmm. Gives him a check for $1 million. Tells him, he is at a fancy restaurant. He orders steak tartare, which is not on the menu. Okay, so he orders steak tartare. Tells Bud to get a nice suit. Go see this person. Tell him I sent you. So not only is he gave him $1 million, showed his power to order something off the menu at a fancy restaurant and get it. No questions asked. And sends you to get suits at this expensive clothier. I'm sure you couldn't afford, but obviously it's on Gordon's account. Okay? And to top it off, something else happens in the film as Gordon continues to suck Bud into his vortex.
Web. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He gets a visit late at night from someone. Gets a knock at his door, and it's a unnamed blonde saying, "Come on, let's go. We're going out." And Gordon sent me. And they get away. They hop in the limo, do some drugs, and next thing you know, her head is in his crotch.
Was I asleep on that part?
You missed
I remember the woman coming to the door and saying, "Let's go," mm-hmm. But I don't remember everything you just said.
Yeah.
Where did they go?
They got in the limo. They're driving. They're riding around in the limo, and she's snorting cocaine. She shares some of that with them, and she starts talking. And about stock market and all this kind of stuff, right? You know, using it as an entendre for sex.
Okay.
You know, and Bud is like, I think you should jump in or whatever. You should go all in or whatever. And she zips him down and goes to work. Yeah. So once again, that's the power of Gordon Gekko.
Oh, I missed that whole
Yeah,
scene.
you missed that. You need to go back and watch that.
I don't think I need to see that. You caught me up.
All right, now back to the fun facts. Fun fact: this is the first film, the first feature film that shows a character using a cell phone.
Is it really?
Yeah, and it wasn't just a regular cell phone. Wasn't the big brick.
Yes, the 80s bricks. Oh my gosh, you gotta kill somebody with them phones.
Nothing. If you're 20 years old and you see this film, you see him holding that thing to his ear, you're like, what the hell is that?
Oh, and the computers too.
Yeah, with the DOS, they're all DOS program with the green.
Like, what are they reading?
Yeah, exactly.
What are they reading? What could it be doing? What can that computer be telling them? Because
not a whole lot.
Yeah.
They didn't have internet back then.
No, they didn't. So what was it telling them? Right?
Yeah, exactly. Just a lot of data. Now, the film also co-starred Martin Sheen as Bud Fox's father, and of course, in real life, Martin Sheen is Charlie Sheen's dad. Now, Oliver Stone gave Charlie Sheen the choice of either having Jack Lemmon or Martin Sheen as his father, and of course, Charlie
picked
told
his father.
His dad to be.
Now, why would he think he would not pick his father?
Well, Jack Lemmon obviously is a legend.
Well, yes, but that's his daddy.
True.
And his daddy is a famous actor too.
Yeah, but now on the level of Jack Lemmon.
Oh no, I ain't seen Jack Lemmon in nothing in years. Well, I don't know, is he dead?
Yeah, he's dead now.
When did he die?
He died several years ago.
Like 10 years ago?
At least.
15? But Martin Sheen is still making...
Yeah, he's still alive.
Still working.
Yeah. But I guess, when it comes, this is back in the 80s, and Jack Lemmon was still an active actor at that time. And he was a legend, a living legend, 2-time Academy Award winning legend. So I can see why, you might, especially from a studio standpoint, you want as many bankable actors in these roles as possible versus Charlie. But yeah, you're right. I think the dynamic between them being actual father and son adds a little bit, what's the word, gravitas to the film. Now, the film also stars Sean Young. Are you familiar with Sean Young?
What, is that a man?
About Sean Young. No, it's the female.
Oh.
She played Gordon Gekko's wife.
Oh, that was his wife.
Yes.
Okay.
Sean Young. Okay, now, Sean Young, there's a lot about Sean Young that we're going to talk about that's going to blow your mind. But in regards to trivia for the film or whatever, Sean Young kept telling Oliver Stone that she should have played the role of Darian, which is played by Daryl Hannah.
Because...
Yeah, I'm going to put it into context.
Okay.
So Sean tells Oliver that Daryl Hannah should be fired and she should be playing Darian. Okay? So, of course, Oliver refused. So, it kept her in the role of...
the wife.
Yeah, in the Gekko, as Mrs. Gekko. So, Sean will show up late to the set, unprepared. And she only has a couple scenes in the film. And that's why. Because she was rebellious. Now, let's talk a little bit about Sean Young. The infamous Sean Young. Now, Sean Young, obviously, actress. In the early 80s, she was on a stratospheric rise to superstardom. Yeah.
Oh?
Yes, she was. She was the next big thing.
Oh.
Yeah. She played Rachel in Blade Runner.
I've never seen that.
There's Blade Runner, which was a huge hit. Well, back then it wasn't, but it's a cult classic now. But her role in Blade Runner was highly praised, and she was tagged as the next It Girl. Okay?
Okay.
But there's one thing about Sean Young that a lot of folks didn't know back then is that she was batshit crazy. Okay. Now, are you familiar with the actor James Woods?
I know that name. I'm sure I've seen stuff he's played in.
Okay. Sean starred in a film with James Wood called The Boost. And they wound up having an affair.
Sean Young and who?
James Woods.
James Woods.
Yeah.
But what else has John Woods been in? Because
James Woods?
Yeah.
He's been in a lot of stuff. He's a character actor, but he's had some lead roles as well. He was nominated for a couple of Oscars. He, good Lord. I'm thinking of a movie that you might have seen. Have you ever seen Casino?
Was Sharon Stone
Yeah.
in that? A long time ago. Just keep going. I'll Google him. I'll figure out who it is.
All right. She had an affair with James Woods on the set of The Boost.
Okay.
It was just one of those typical Hollywood affairs where they start together, they bang each other, and then they go their separate ways after the film is over, or whatever. But Sean took a step further. She was obsessed with him and was stalking him. Yeah. So she gained a reputation in Hollywood being batshit crazy. Sean Young is the same Sean Young who was cast in the role of Catwoman in Batman Returns before Michelle Pfeiffer. That's how big she was. You ever seen the movie No Way Out with Kevin Costner? That was a huge film, a huge hit. That's the film that made Kevin Costner a star. She played the love interest in No Way Out. So she was a top line A-list actress who was getting all these big roles. She got cast as Catwoman in Batman Returns ahead of Michelle Pfeiffer. However, she got injured in a horsing accident. Okay, and I think she broke her leg or whatever. She goes injured, so they recast the role and gave Michelle Pfeiffer the role. That didn't sit well with Sean Young. Sean Young shows up at the set, shows up on the Warner Brothers lot, dressed as Catwoman, demanding to see the head of the studio, and she was in a Catwoman outfit.
Was she in a cast as well?
I don't know if she was in a cast, but that's how batshit crazy she got blacklisted in Hollywood and never
for that
and all the other antics, the stalking and all that kind of stuff.
But that was the thing that really did it.
I guess that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Okay.
And so Sean Young, on the set of Wall Street, she caused a lot of problems, and that's why she's such a big actress. And she actually, and you're a big actor when you have when they're rolling the credits and they show the actor's name. It's just that one name. They get a single shot to themselves or a single screen to themselves. So she had a single screen to herself, but she only had two scenes in the freaking film, and that's why. So a little sidebar trivia there. Now, this is the only movie also that both won an Oscar for best. Won an Oscar for Best Actor and a Razzie for Worst Supporting Actress. Okay, you know what a Razzie is?
I've heard of that.
Okay, Oscar of course is for the best, top, whatever, and the Razzies is like if you're bad. So Daryl Hannah won the Razzie for Worst Supporting Actress. I can see why her performance in the film was a bit wooden, but I think it was supposed to be wooden, because of who her character. Because her character's kind of, I won't say her character's ditzy, but she is someone who is in a position she's in because of her looks and not because of her skill level, and that is something that's revealed later on in the film. Michael Douglas worked with a speech instructor on breath control to help him with the film's rapid fire dialogue, and a notorious smoker. He was smoking 40 cigarettes a day, so you can imagine how difficult that was. Little bit more trivia. Oliver Stone admitted to everyone that Daryl Hannah was miscast, but he was too proud to replace her. So I guess he didn't want to say, okay, y'all got it right, I got it wrong. So he kept her in the film anyway.
Well, I don't think Sean Young would have been... She's not pretty or sexy enough. They would have needed to, I guess they would have done something for her. But if it was supposed to be a really beautiful, sexy woman in that role, Sean, I don't know.
Well, I wasn't say this much. Sean Young was a tremendous actress, but when it comes, but I think for that particular role, she would not have fit. She would not have made a good Darian as well. More trivia. Charlie Sheen and Sean Young did not get along at all. They hated each other, and at one point during the filming, you know how you'll stick a note on somebody's back and say says something negative. Anyways, he stuck a piece of paper on her back saying "I am a cunt," and nobody told her.
That's awful. Where was HR?
I know back then. Yeah. Let's see here. Okay. Now, Michael Douglas was actually working on the film Fatal Attraction at the same time he was working on Wall Street. So I know everybody remembers the Fatal Attraction. So he would alternate between these two films. He worked a week on Wall Street, a week on Fatal Attraction, and back and forth, back and forth. So and I think that's even more amazing, seeing as how he won the Oscar for his role as Gordon Gekko, which was freaking amazing. Let's see here. Guess what?
What?
Guess who wanted the role of Bud Fox and didn't get it?
Will I be able to guess?
A big time actor.
Can I get a hint?
No, I want you to guess. He's the biggest actor in the world today.
Oh, is it Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise wanted the role of Bud Fox, but Oliver Stone had promised it to Charlie Sheen already. He actually promised the role of Bud Fox to Charlie Sheen when they were filming Platoon.
I think that was a good decision.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts about Bud Fox, the character, and Charlie Sheen's performance?
I thought he did a great job. I really did. I think that was probably one of the best. Now, I'm not a huge Charlie Sheen fan. We talked about this. I still have never seen 3.5 Men. I don't know. I don't even think I've seen Platoon. If I have, it's been so long ago that I've forgotten it. I don't really remember anything that Charlie Sheen is in. But I thought this was an excellent performance by him.
I know you've only seen the film once. Is there one particular scene that kind of stood out to you when it came to?
For Charlie Sheen?
Yeah.
The scenes when he was with his father. So at the beginning we were talking about, before he got that meeting with Gordon Gekko, he was having dinner with his father, right? And I thought that scene was very poignant. It shows his character. It shows his character as Bud, and when not Bud the character, but I'm talking about character like integrity, whatever. That's what I'm talking about. Character, like
the character of the character.
Yes, thank you. It shows the character of the character, because you see that he's kind of still innocent, and he's really he's hungry. He wants to. He wants to work. He's not looking for a way out, but he just knows he needs a break. He needs a shot with somebody. He needs somebody to give him a chance. And he was determined to go after his dreams. So that's kind of like the innocence part. But it shows you he wasn't a bad person.
I'm glad you brought that up, because in that particular scene, the first scene where he's having dinner with his dad, he borrows money from his dad because he's broke. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I think his dad gives him like $300 or whatever, right? He said, "I said I'll get it back to you later." Okay, then later on in the film, once he's successful, and he has the big argument with his dad. What is you recall what he says to him?
No, what did he say?
He says, "How's it that you were never there for me? When I needed you, you're never there for me. You're always there for your men, but you're never there for me." Mm-hmm. Now, in that earlier scene, early in the film, this is not the first time he's borrowed money from his dad, and he's like, it's adding up, and his dad's like, you can move back and live with us and everything, because I'm trying to scrape together and give you money, this, that, and the third, right? So so they're letting you know that obviously Bud is struggling, and that he's been hitting his dad up for money continuously. So later in the film, it comes out, Bud mentions that once he's successful, he gives his dad money. And his dad's like, "Man, this is a lot of money. You need to keep this for yourself, because I know you're going to need it, later. Well, you might be able to make some money now, but hold on to this." He's like, Charles like, "Well, I borrowed, at least $5,000 from you." Okay? And then he turns around later and tells his dad, "Why you never do anything for me? Why was you never there to support me?" But damn it! You don't hit the nigga up for $5,000. So I found that to be a little bit ironic. But my favorite scene with as far as my favorite Bud Fox, Charlie Sheen scene, is the scene where he realizes, finally he realizes what the audience is known for the previous hour. And in the movies, I love it when a character finally realizes, damn, his damn moment. Mm-hmm. And the look on his face when it dawns on him that things aren't quite what they seem, I thought it was amazing. And I can see Tom Cruise in this film, especially the 1987 version of Tom Cruise. I think would have been a great choice as well. But the chemistry that Bud has with not only with Gordon, but also the chemistry the actor has with Oliver Stone, the director. I think it was a good choice. Now, if this film was remade today with a black cast, who would you see as Bud Fox?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I'm so unprepared to answer that question.
Who would you see as Bud Fox? Who would you see as Gordon Gekko?
I don't know. I gotta think about it.
I'm gonna drop one on you right now.
Okay.
Bud Fox, Michael B. Jordan. What do you think?
Michael B. Jordan. I don't know, because I see him so much as a what do you call it? Like action roles. Action roles. So it's hard for me to put him in.
We got a big
something
break
like
in
this.
Fruitvale though, which was not an action role.
Oh, I never saw that.
Good Lord, you never saw Fruitvale?
No, I can't watch stuff like that. It's too upsetting.
Oh Lord.
When stuff really happened, I can't watch it.
It's a powerful film though.
That's why I can't watch
it.
You know what? That's why I can't do it. I know.
Oh man, you shot me. So you would see you don't see Michael B. Jordan in that role?
It's hard for me to see him in that role.
Really?
Yeah, I see somebody real pretty, like the man who plays the Duke off of Bridgerton. Y'all know what I'm talking about. First season.
Yeah. I don't know the actor's name, but I know who you're talking about. I can see that. As well. But I think from an innocent standpoint, I think Michael B. Jordan does a good job portraying innocence.
You think so?
Yeah.
I guess I've never seen him in a film like that.
Like in Creed. Innocent. I mean, in Creed, when he first started out in Creed, in the beginning of the film, he's very innocent.
I never saw that either.
You never seen? Okay.
First of all, let me just let the audience know I'm not a big movie fan. I love television series. So I have not seen a lot of movies.
Okay. But I would think that you would have seen.
I have not seen
just
it.
Just because you're black, so.
I haven't. I love supporting black stuff, but I'm not interested in boxing. I'm not interested in sports. So that's not going to
It's a movie, though.
bring me to the...
It's not, so much.
It's about a sport.
True. This is a character film, too, but I get it. Now, who would you see as a black actor? Who would you see as Gordon Gekko?
I don't know. I'm trying to think about somebody my age.
Low-hanging fruit.
Who? Will Smith?
I wasn't thinking Will, but Will, yeah. I think Will would make a good Gordon Gekko. But it's somebody else. Low-hanging fruit.
Low-hanging fruit.
Well,
that was the lowest hang. I got Denzel.
There's a fruit that's just a little bit lower.
It's not
Denzel's
Denzel.
a good choice. I think Denzel would freaking crush.
He would.
Crush.
Talking about somebody with gravitas and could suck air out of the room.
Yeah.
He would do that with that role.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's one other actor
I don't know. You're going to have to give it to me.
Idris.
Really?
Yeah. I think Idris would smash.
First of all, he would have to drop his accent.
Which he does. You ever seen The Wire? String a Bell? You swear he's from the hood.
I take it back. I mean, I got one better.
Who that?
Mahershala Ali.
Yes, Mahershala.
That's the one.
Yes. Okay, you win. Yes, Mahershala. Yeah. So Mahershala and the guy from Bridgerton, you see as the...
Or, okay, what is that child's name? He plays, okay, so Denzel Washington's son, I keep forgetting his name, he played on Ballers, but also...
oh, yeah, John David Washington? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And also Mario Van Peebles' son.
I've never seen his son.
Well, you know how Mario Van Peebles look?
Yeah, he looks just like him?
Yeah.
Okay, good-looking guy.
He's a good-looking kid, yeah. I think he could do innocent well.
Mm-hmm. If you were to put a rapper in the role of Bud Fox, who would you choose?
Oh, my God. A rapper?
Yes.
Oh, no. I'm trying to think of an innocent rapper, and I ain't pulling no names up.
An innocent rapper?
Or one who could play innocent.
That could play innocent. He's a little older now, but I think if it was just a few years younger, I would love to see somebody like T.I. in that role.
Oh.
Like Fox. Yeah. think?
Yeah, I think also Corday. Also, he used to go by YBN Corday, but I think he might be able to do it.
You think?
If he can act, I think he might fit.
What about Darian? If you were to pick a black actress.
Oh, it's so many pretty women. Gosh, pretty black women. That makes it hard to pick too. What is the Tika Sumpter, who I think is gorgeous.
Who is she in? What is she in? The name is familiar, but I'm trying to.
She was in Mixed-ish. She played the mother in Mixed-ish. She played in that show, one of them Tyler Perry shows, the Have and the Have-Nots. She's been in other stuff, but she's beautiful. She would be good.
I would think Keke Palmer. No? No Keke? No? Why?
Pull up let me find you a picture of Tika Sumpter. And you see how she looks.
So you think Tika looks better than Keke?
I do.
Yeah. Right.
Personal opinion.
Mm-hmm. So you think, the Darian character has to be somebody who's glamorous and beautiful?
Yes, because that was what she was for.
Eye candy? A trophy?
Yes.
Yeah. Because the way Gordon passed her around, I guess she was a trophy.
Yeah.
I gave you Darian! He says it. Well, you think you be dicking somebody like Darian?
Oh my God, he was laughing hard at that, huh?
I'm just saying, because from the very beginning, he was using Darian, as once again as okay, yeah, I see, yeah, okay,
Tika Sumpter.
yeah, Tika Sumpter. Yeah. Another fun fact: the first choice, Oliver Stone's first choice to play Gordon Gekko, was not Michael Douglas. It was Richard Gere. I can see that.
I can't imagine Richard Gere playing hard like that, but
Well, actually, Richard was in a film just a few years ago entitled Arbitrage, where he played a Gordon Gekko type character, and he was strong in that particular film. So I think it could have happened. Let's see here. Al Pacino turned down the role of Gordon Gekko. Yeah.
He would have been good in it.
Of course. Of course. Absolutely. And let's see here. James Wood was offered the part of Gordon Gekko. I think that would now gone well with Sean Young, but he turned it down. Now James Woods turns up later in another Wall Street based film, Too Big to Fail.
How many? Wait, it's not a sequel, is it?
No.
Okay.
No. Too Big to Fail was circulated around the housing crash back in the early 2000s.
Okay.
Let's see here. Now, when it comes to this particular film, Wall Street, since it was your first time seeing it, and I highly recommend it to anyone out there listening, it is a great film, and I think that it will enlighten people when it comes to, and makes you want to learn more about how the financial world works. Because it did for me. Because a lot of the jargon that they use in the film is stuff that if you don't know what's going on in Wall Street or goes on in the world of high finance, you're like, what the fuck are they saying? It's like a whole different language. And to me, because in this film, there's no action in this film. You ain't got car chases, you ain't got nobody fighting or anything. You don't have nobody gets killed, anything like that. The action is on Wall Street itself. And the scenes where they're on the floor trading, and also in the office, how chaotic it is, and how they're screaming at each other. I always think to myself, how do you know? You got dozens of people screaming at you. How are you processing this information? And they say, I want to buy this, I want to buy that. And they're calling, drop this and drop that, and all this kind of stuff. I just never. I was like, that is a world that if you're involved in, I can see it. I can see how you could be easily corrupted for one, because there's so much money. Because Bud says early in the film, one of the earlier scenes when he's struggling, that, and he's trying to convince the customer about to start an account with them, and the customer hangs up on him, and he says, for once I like to be the person on the other end of that phone. So when he gets to B, when he gets into a position where, and his friend Marv that he's working with, that's when his friend gives him $100 because he's broke. Okay, I think he says that he's behind on his American Express bill or whatever, right? So Marv gives him $100. So once Bud becomes successful, a few scenes later, Marv comes to his office to get some help from him. What did he say to Marv?
What did he say?
He told him to get the fuck out.
Oh.
Yeah, he said, look, I'm tired of you coming here all the time playing wet nurse to you. Do your own work sometimes. Just like, you fucking asshole. And you think, Bud, you know, an hour ago in the film, dude was giving you money to pay your bills. Same thing with his dad. So you see how the Bud Fox character, once he gets into the clutches of Gordon Gekko, totally changes, and not for the better. And once he realizes what he's done, and that Gordon has taken advantage of him, then he switches back. Then he kind of refines or his moral compass, so to speak. And then he does, I guess, you know, what would be considered the right thing. Now, did you know there was a sequel to this film?
I did know.
There was a sequel, Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps. So I know you said after the film you wondered what happened as far as to Bud and or Gordon. So what were you thinking?
My thought is that, well, I don't want to. If I say it, will that spoil the movie? Because the end is like a cliffhanger to me. Yeah.
It is.
So I don't know. I don't want to say what I think, because for the people who haven't seen it.
Well, I don't think you're spoiling anything. If you...
I thought Gordon would go to jail at the end. See, you spoiling stuff, baby.
Am I spoiling for you?
Yeah, no, I already knew it, but for the people.
Oh, okay.
And I thought that Bud would not go. I thought he would just have to start back over in a new career, because he was pretty much ruined as a stockbroker or whatever
he definitely lost his license. Yeah, insider trading is a wrap.
So that's what I thought happened.
And it did. Obviously, I've seen the sequel, which was very good. It wasn't as good as it wasn't as good as the original, but it was great. I liked it a lot. Bud Fox does turn up for one scene in the sequel. The sequel is focuses more on Gordon Gekko and his transition from prison back into civilian life. But he does run into Bud Fox, and I'll go ahead and spoil that because it's not a huge spoiler because it's not germane to the story at all. He runs into Bud Fox at a fundraiser, but that scene basically kind of is there to let you kind of tell the fan this is what happened to Bud basically. You know, folks are wondering.
Yes.
So he runs into Bud at a fundraiser, and Bud basically has a short scene with Gordon. He tells Gordon what he's been doing since the events of Wall Street, and that's it. You never see Bud again. So it is that bow is tied up. All right. So we're 50 minutes in. We're going to wrap up here. So Wall Street, just your overall impression.
It was a good movie. I never would have watched it on my own. The only reason I watched it is because you were watching it. And I would recommend it. It's a good movie to watch on like a Sunday afternoon when you cleaning up or something, or you want to get you a good nap. It's one of those kind of movies. It's a good movie. It was well done. I liked it.
How did you like the sex scene?
I don't remember a sex scene.
There was a sex scene, so yeah.
Who had sex?
Darian and Bud.
Oh, but they didn't show it.
No, it was a silhouette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't count that as a sex scene.
But I think it was shot that way as a juxtaposition. Because as a filmmaker, Oliver Stone, every scene has a deeper meaning to it. I think the fact that their lovemaking was silhouetted is an indicator that their relationship was superficial. You know, there was something dark and sinister behind their relationship that it wasn't something that was true.
That's very deep.
Yeah, yeah. Because once again, later in the film, when Gordon has the conversation with Bud over the phone, when Bud double crosses him, and he's cussing Bud out on the phone, when the scene closes, Gordon is silhouetted. Yeah, goes dark, and all you see is Gordon's silhouette, which once again takes us back to the whole Darien thing as well, because everything is kind of intertwined. Because in this movie, from the moment Bud Fox tells Gordon Gekko the information that he had received from his father, the wheels immediately starts turning in Gordon's head. Gordon's thinking 10, 15 steps ahead. Everything that happens from that moment on is ostensibly a con. Once he realizes he never gave a damn about Bud Fox. Okay, all he knew is because I think I told you this, even though we don't see it in the film, Gordon reveals some information to Bud that indicates that he knows stuff about Bud. My takeaway is that the moment Bud walked out of that office, he did a background check. He learned everything. He learned everything about Bud Fox. Probably by the end of the day, he knew everything about Bud Fox going back to his infancy.
Right. Well, Gordon says in the movie a couple of times, and maybe even Bud says, I'm gonna teach you how information works. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna teach you how to get information, what to do with the information once you get it. I'm gonna teach you that. And so I think that's highly likely too, that he had to do some sort of research, because he had to check to see, first of all, if whatever Bud shared could be true. The likelihood of what he was telling him could be true.
Yeah, and the way Gordon plays it, he plays as if the information that Bud is giving him, he's hearing it for the first time. Gordon is playing Bud to a point where Bud kind of feels that he's actually giving Gordon information that Gordon doesn't already know. Once again, Gordon is already thinking 10 steps ahead that this is what I'm going to do once I get this. Part A leads to part B, part C, and at the end of this is a bit pot of gold at the end of the rainbow that I'm going to take advantage of, and that's exactly what he does. But everything that happens in between there, everything that he does for and with Bud, is leading to that end game of him acquiring
what he acquired.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah, acquiring it and getting that big pot of gold at the end. Mm-hmm. And Darien, because once again there was a scene where Bud meets with the lawyer and they give him power of attorney, mm-hmm. which insulates Gordon from everything. Once again, everything is an end game and that's one of the things about the film, because I've seen it many, many, many times, and every time I see it, I see something different. And seeing how well, from when this film was written and how the story was told and how it was laid out by Oliver Stone, it's amazing. It's a film that if you see it 3 or 4 times, every time you see it, you're going to see something different. Oh, I didn't notice that the first time. Oh, I didn't notice that the first time. Damn, Gordon was slick. So on and so forth. And that, to me, makes it a rewatchable film. So that's why it was a subject of watching
today.
Again.
Mm-hmm.
So, given that information, would you want to watch it again? Would you recommend someone else watch it?
I would watch it again, yes. And I would, even without that information, that's a movie I would watch again. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a few movies that I love to watch. Oh, if it comes on, I'm going to watch it.
Like what?
Tombstone is one.
Oh, wow. I'm your Huckleberry. Really?
Yes.
I am shocked.
Really?
I'm beyond shocked. I would never in 1,000 years would have thought that you would be a Tombstone fan.
I love that movie.
How many times have you seen it?
Over a dozen.
What's your favorite scene? Go down, boy.
That's
smoke wagon to see what happened.
It's so many, right?
Yeah.
I like all the Doc Holliday scenes.
I'm your Huckleberry.
I love how he said that, and I love when they're at the casino. And he and the
Johnny Ringo?
And not the flip. Well, the flipping part is mm-hmm. funny, but when they're like going back and forth in Latin,
yeah,
I like that scene. It's so many good ones.
See, now if you hadn't told, you withholding information from me.
I'm not
because we would have done a show on Tombstone if I'd known that you were.
That I like that movie?
Yes.
Yeah,
so we're going to have to do a show on Tombstone.
There we go.
Wow.
Next episode.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Mm-hmm.
And hell's coming with me.
Oh, yes.
You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Hell is coming with me.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one of the... just a little bit about Tombstone since you brought it up. I think Val Kilmer's performance as Doc Holliday, the fact that he didn't win an Oscar for that...
It's a shame.
He didn't even get nominated.
That was a shame.
Yeah.
That was a very fine performance.
So it's like you see Val Kilmer, the first thing you think about is Doc Holliday. You know, and the way he played that character and how he dominated every scene in the film, how he stole the film basically from Kurt Russell. And Kurt Russell was great as Wyatt Earp. Yeah. So you just imagine how great Val was to overshadow. Do you know that was Billy Bob Thornton that he beat up in the throwdown? Jerk that smoke wagon and see what happens.
Yes.
A lot of folks don't realize that was Billy Bob Thornton, the fat Billy Bob Thornton, who would later, a few years later, get a chance to smash Halle Berry in.
Oh Lord! Okay, let's not bring that up.
All right. So final thoughts, final impressions. Anything else you want to add about Wall Street, the film? Not Tombstone.
No, it's a good movie. I would watch it again, and I'm going to watch the sequel.
You are? Okay,
yeah, I am.
Wonderful. You want to watch it with me, or you want to watch it on your own?
Maybe both. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, let's.
Okay.
I don't know.
Money Never Sleeps. That's the name of the film. Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps.
Okay.
Okay. It was directed by Oliver Stone again. It's the only film. It's the only sequel that Oliver Stone has ever done, by the way, as well. So,
fun fact.
So, if you're out there listening, what do you think about what's the name of the film? Wall Street. You got to think about Tombstone now. What do you think about Wall Street? If you've seen it, would you want to see it again? What are your thoughts? Have you learned anything new from me as far as in regards to the characterization, the many layers, the intrigue of this particular film? Chime in, comment below. I want to hear what you think about Wall Street. And let me know whether or not you would watch it again. Other than that, I'm out. Hey, Wendy.
Yes.
It's been fun.
Yes, it has.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's do it again real soon.
We will.
Watch again, y'all. All right, I'm out.